Hi, everyone, and welcome to not another, but one special session of the Out of the Box Developer. We are here with our great team of engineers, starting with you, Silla from Switzerland. How are you doing, Silla?
Yes, thank you. I am fine today. Thank you, Igor. And hi, everyone. And also, good evening for the audience. And it's a big pleasure for me today to join this session because we have got a great guest today and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. It's not every day that we have a Java champion, at least until each of us become a Java champion, hopefully. Next, we are going to present Luis Real. Hi, Luis. How you doing?
Hello, everyone. I'm great, especially in today's session that we have Elder with us. So I follow his YouTube channel for quite some time now, and I'm really glad to have him here today with us.
Yeah, me too. Following up directly from Canada with Pedro Cavallero. How are you today, Pedro?
Hey, hello everybody. Hello everybody from the audience. Yeah, I'm here a little early than most of people here in Toronto, and I'm here because we love Elder Moraes and all his knowledge. So I think this is some will be a fantastic fantastic episode of our podcast, historical one.
Yeah, totally agree. And following with Tiago Bolfin. Hi, Tiago. Pleasure to see you here too. How you doing?
Hello, everyone. I'm great. I'm glad to be here with this special guest, Elder Moraes. So, yeah, glad to be here.
Awesome. And presenting myself, I'm Igor Fraga. Thank you for joining us in this special session of the Out of the Box. I'm looking forward to be one of those that Sila mentioned on her post on the Out of the Box new page on LinkedIn. If you don't follow that, follow it right now, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you keep up to date to each session. But today's session is a special one. We're receiving his author, his Red Hat advocate, and he is also a Java champion. Each of us dream or ever dreamed about that. And if you want to stand out of the cave and shine as a developer in the tech market worldwide, please welcome Elder Moraes to enlighten us. I do want to know a lot. I have a lot of questions to bring to you. It's a pleasure to meet you, Elder. We didn't meet in person yet, but hopefully we will do soon this year. How's everything doing, Elder?
Well, I'm pretty good and pretty happy to be here with you guys. And thank you for having me. And thank you for your kindness. I was just listening to the introduction here. So I'm super happy to be here and looking forward to this conversation. So thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you very much for joining us to give us your time. And if you're watching us, you want to bring your questions to Elder, please write it in the chat here so you can we can bring your questions to him. It's not every day that you have this opportunity, so do it. And starting here for with us, I will start opening the questions here. Each one of you have. Elder, I've heard a lot about you, especially this last year. I was one of these developers that were in the cave until last year, and I wanted to learn from you. And for a long time, I was that guy that, uh, you are good at your company. You do things that sounds great into your company, but no one knows you outside of your company, or in the industry, uh, what can you bring us to change this? Because if I'm good into the company, maybe I need to do something that I'm not doing to show it out of my company as well.
Mhm. Uh, and I would say that if people know you inside your company, you are even ahead of some people, because there are people that just his or her team know that person, because that's a discussion that I was having with my mentees yesterday, that even inside your company, you need to get known in order to get, for example, get better projects, or get promotions, or get a raise, and so on. But that's another discussion that we can have afterwards. But you know, some people, and you all guys here, I know some of you in person, some of you just online, but you are all amazing developers. Uh, and we are lucky right now that we know you guys in the market, because uh, when the market don't know that you are amazing, the market are missing your knowledge in the market, not only for working in good projects, not only to get good positions, but when the market know what you know, we can have your knowledge more accessible to others. What do I mean when I saying that? For example, when Luis is giving classes at the college, or it's sharing, or is promoting, for example, a Sojava meetup, when Pedro is giving talks at TDC, or is coordinating tracks, also with Chila, also with Thiago, also with Igor, when you guys share your knowledge, or help sharing knowledge, even is from each other, you are bringing this up to the market, and everyone is it's getting the value from it. So I would start, and that's always my first answer when someone brings this question. How can I start? By sharing what you know, sharing knowledge. Everyone can share what they know. But, Elder, I'm just a beginner. I don't know that much. I know that even if you are a beginner, you'll know more than some people in the market, because there are people that don't even didn't even start, or are just getting started. So everything that you learn, you can teach what you learn from the point that you just learned, because I'm sure there are some people that will benefit from it. So my first step for this answer is sharing what you know.
Great, great. Thanks for bringing it. So, just to adding to what you tell us, share from your perspective, right? Every each one of us will have a perspective and how they understand a special subject, even if that's tech related, because it seems usually that's something, it is how it is, but how you approach it, how you teach it, it will depend. You can watch a class from a person and doesn't understand a single thing, but maybe someone watch a video or read an article from you, and you wrote in a way that makes sense to that person.
Yeah, and
And
just to add some to it, when you do it on daily basis, on always with constancy, you start to create your voice. What I call your voice is how people listen to you. And for example, if I teach Quarkus, and Pedro also teach Quarkus, even if we share the same knowledge and the same topics and the same content, but me sharing this knowledge will be totally different than Pedro sharing this knowledge. And there are people that will identify with Pedro. And there are people that will identify with me, identify with Chila, will identify with Igor, and identify with Thiago. And that's the beauty of sharing knowledge, because once someone identifies with you and starts to listen to your voice, to your message, to what you have to teach, what you have to share with others, you are helping that person. And we all here can do that. So that's the beauty of this knowledge sharing philosophy, let's say.
Yeah, and there is space
Uh,
for everyone.
yeah, and there's space for everyone. I was exactly was discussing with my mentees as well about this exactly topic, and the question that came is, well, how to start it in a way that it's not that difficult, because people would say to me, oh, but Pedro, writing a big article is difficult, or creating a YouTube video is difficult. How do we get to start like today?
Mhm.
How can we do that?
Yeah. The problem is that we always look to the big mountain, you know. So people look, oh, look that guy, he wrote a book. Look that guy, he has 1,000 videos. Look at no, look, you can start by, just for example, you have I imagine that we all here, that we are working, we have a colleague on our team, and maybe we learn something that this colleague doesn't know, so we can share in 5 minutes. Hey, I just learned how to use this API. Can I share with you? Because maybe this will help you. And then I share what I learned. Uh, if I want to write something, I don't need to write a 2,000 words article. I can write 2 paragraphs on my LinkedIn, on my blog post, or whatever. Hey, I learned this API, and this helped me to do that. I can do it by doing this, and the result is this. And came back for the next post. That's how we start, and this is valid for whatever habit that we are talking about. For example, some people struggles with reading. Oh, I would like to read more, but I don't have the habit to read. Can you read 5 minutes a day? I'm sure that we all can read 5 minutes a day. So you start with 5 minutes, and then you can do, for example, 2 times a day 5 minutes, and then 3 times a day 5 minutes, and then we grow up to 10 minutes and 15 minutes, and so on. That's how we build habits. But most of us here stop when we are building these good habits, because we want to start by doing something great, and that's the recipe for failure. So start small, start with baby steps. I always use, when I have the opportunity to speak English, I like to use this expression, baby steps,
Baby steps.
because that's how you start. Okay, so we all here start with our first line of code. That's how we became developers. So why not doing that for our all other habits that we would like to create? So that's how we start sharing knowledge. So we can share in one line of article, 5 minutes of conversation, 15 minutes of presentation, our daily, on our weekly, on our team inside the company. So start small, and then once you get comfortable with that phase that you are, you can increase a little bit of the complexity. So add a little bit more complexity. Once you are comfortable, add a little bit more, and then there's a book. I don't know if you have it here, Atomic Habits, and he
Yeah.
said to add 1% a day. So if you can grow up 1% a day in 1 year, man, you are flying.
And Elder, how we do to not stop? Because I can start motivated. Oh my, just listen to Elder and to all of these guys, and I I do want to do that, and then I start writing. I do that. I don't do that big one, but I start, and
Hmm.
then I move and do another, and do some another post, and this was good, and then suddenly, oh man, I'm so tired of today's work. I have so much to do, and then you don't do this, and the next day you miss it, and the another, and then you stop doing it.
Hmm.
Do you have any tip for us to how do I do not lose sight of this track? Because this is something that happens to all of us. I'm pretty sure.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, you know, uh, a lot of times we rely on motivation, and motivation is good. Okay, it's not. There's nothing wrong with motivation, but um, there are things in life that we need to do. We whatever we have a motivation or not. So, for example, I need to pay my bills, even if you're not motivated for that. And then when I never motivated to pay my bills, but I need to pay it. Uh, I have to work in order to pay my bills, whatever I'm motivated or not. Um, what's my point here? Above the motivation, you need to have a reason. So why the hell am I doing that? Why the hell am I doing this? So what you need to know, you need to have it clear on your mind why the hell you are starting sharing knowledge. Oh, because I would like to grow up. No, you if you would like to grow up, it will stop in 2 weeks. Okay. What's your what's your dream? Okay, I would like to forget about it would like. I want, okay? I really want, for example, to you were all talking about Java champion. I want to become a Java champion. Okay, so sharing knowledge will help me. Yes, it will help you. Okay, so I will share knowledge because I want to become a Java champion. So wherever you start doing, whatever you decide to start doing, bring a reason together, because a reason will help you when you don't have motivation.
Yeah.
Because believe me, you will lose motivation. Okay, I don't have motivation to record videos every single week for years, though I still record the videos every single week for years. Why I do that? Because I have a reason, and this reason keep me on track. Okay, I fail sometimes. I fail a lot of times, but even then, I keep doing it. So, okay, motivation is good, but reason is bigger.
Yeah. Have
Uh,
your why clear, right? Why are you
all
doing
right.
all of that? What
Yeah,
will bring it to you? And if it's not strong enough, you just give up.
Yeah,
because
I
it's
just
hard.
want to point. Yeah, sorry. I just want to point out to the our audience. Our audience is here. Is they
Yeah.
are sending some
Let's talk with
comments.
them.
Mhm.
Hey,
Yeah.
hi Luciano.
Hi, Luciano.
Hi Vinicius as well. Luciano told us. I think that we all can read 5 minutes or more, but the difficult it's focus reading time. It's more about mindfulness than capacities. Just my 5 cents about. Totally agree, Luciano. I've had a lot of problems to focus in the past. Then I started meditating with a Headspace app that really helped me a lot to focus. But I can tell you guys, I'm sharing this a personal thing that happened to me and sometimes still happening. There were times that I was so tired that or so lost of focus that I spent an hour in a single page. So that's not the right day to read because you're not on focus. Try to practice mindfulness like Luciano told us.
Mhm.
Hey, pay the bills is one of the biggest, stronger motivation to work for any of us here. Vinicius also shared with us. I think skipping it sometimes it's necessary, but it should, not should become an habit. Yeah, that messes the habit. Vinicius also says the reason is very important. I believe that it's above it all. The reason it's like Elder just mentioned is what keep us moving forward. And hi, Marco. Hi to you too. And to every one of you that are to every one of you guys that are watching us, say your hi here in the comments so we can talk with you guys.
Awesome.
Um,
I have a question. So, we are talking about sharing knowledge that is something that can help us to become a Java champion or even to level up our careers. So, but why is that? Why sharing knowledge is so important?
good question.
That's a good question. And I don't know how much time you guys have been doing software development, but this year I will I will begin 26 years old on my career. And when I got started in my career, this whole sharing knowledge stuff wasn't like that because there was a culture, especially in the software industry, uh, where the knowledge that I have, I need to keep it because if other people know what I know, they could get my job, they could get my spot here. I don't know exactly when this change. I have a suspicion that the open source movement has a lot of um, role in this transformation. But the fact is that at some point in the industry history, we realized that once we share knowledge, the knowledge is distributed, and we have more knowledge being created, and we have people knowing more. And the key aspect here is when I share my knowledge with you, and this really helps you, I create in you a kind of reciprocity. I don't know
Reciprocity.
the
Yeah.
reciprocity. Thank you, thank you for that. I created this kind of reciprocity, and this will make you at some point also will create you the willingness to help me at some point. And this willingness to help me could be translated, for example, in help me, I don't know, when I'm trying to solve some problem, when I'm looking for someone to help me to do some project, or if you are a hiring manager, maybe you will offer me a position, or as happened to me, if you are a publisher, you would can, for example, offers me to write a book. So when we are sharing knowledge, we are creating this ecosystem of reciprocity around us. And also, when we share knowledge, and we have an expression here in Portuguese that we say, maybe that is in English as well, but uh, the one that teaches learns more than the other. I don't know exactly the translation, but the meaning is when I'm teaching, I'm learning even more because the process of getting information and building an explanation and turning it in a way of, for example, speaking, a talk, or a class, and so on, this will activate a lot of parts of my cognitive system. And this will make me learn even more of that project. So the process of helping others to learn something will make me to learn even more. So when you guys sees me, for example, giving a talk, you can be sure that I'm learning in that very moment that I'm sharing with you. I'm learning. Uh, there are some talks that I give many times. For example, I have one talk that I gave on TDC, and I gave on JCon in Germany, and then I gave on TDC again, and then I went to Salt Lake City and I gave that talk and so on. So that same talk, in the fourth, fifth, or the sixth time that I gave that talk, I know much more about that topic, that subject, than my knowledge on my first time that I was talking about it. So that's why the sharing knowledge is so powerful, because you are helping others, you are creating reciprocity, you are building up your own knowledge, you are helping
Mhm.
people, and people start to see you as someone that know that topic. So it will gives you a kind of authority, a kind of leadership. So that's why it's so powerful. So, and if you look to the industry today, nowadays, uh, there is a kind of trend to realize that the most successful people that we see as developers, most of time, not every single time, but most of time, there is this trend to see that are people that at some point, at some way, they share what they know. Can be on written, spoken, on whatever kind of
Mhm.
media that we have.
So, Elder, about everything that we talked about until now, about set goals, create habits, and share knowledge, you mentioned that you talked to your mentees yesterday. So I was thinking here, do you think that having a mentor helps you to do that kind of stuff? And as a follow-up question, recently on a Fuji podcast, you mentioned that mentoring is a way to help others avoid the trial and error you experienced. Uh, with AI tools now widely available, how crucial is professional mentoring?
Good question. I used to say that uh, paying a mentor is like buying time, because you have someone that is in the same way, in the same path that you are, but a few steps ahead of you. And because he or she is a few steps ahead of you, he or she can guide you towards this path, can warn you about the obstacles, can teach you about the shortcuts, so you can move faster. That's why I really believe that uh, paying a mentor is like buying time. And I'm not talking about it just by guessing, it's because I made it. So I paid mentors, I still pay mentors, and this is bringing me a lot of time. The first, sorry, the first experience that I have with being mentored, and it was with Bruno Souza, that has been mentoring most of us here. It was like, and I always say that, it was like growing 15 years in three. So my guessing by that time is where that was growing like 5 times faster. And once I realized it today, in these days, every single time that I need to learn something new, I don't buy a course anymore. I buy a mentorship, because it's much more effective. Yes, it's much more expensive, but it really pays off on the course of time. And connecting it with AI, my point with AI in this case is the same with other cases. Okay, AI is a great tool. I've been using AI on a daily basis to do my job, to do everything that I do. Uh, but AI, until this moment, until the day, until this very day that we are recording this, still doesn't have this skill of listening exactly what I'm talking about, and putting on my shoes and really look into my problem and give me the advice that will guide me on this path, as I told you. Because most of times that we are talking about our careers, our desires, our fears, there's not something concrete. It's kind of abstract. And until these days, I can only see humans having this kind of ability to look to these abstract feelings, pains, and so on, and give an advice that really would help, because it's something that is came from the experience. Is not came just by the full amount of content that are available, and we can index that content and create all those stuff that AI do on some way. But when we turn this in a way of giving insights to someone to failure less than that person would fail by doing just by trying and error, I can only see until these days a human doing that. So that's the today answer for this question.
Thank you, Elder. I believe that I need my why more in my front to move forward on what my mentor teaches.
And,
So
Igor, just adding on what you said, and I told you, talk to you guys about why, and that's a reason. That's great.
yes,
And but there are other stuff that you can add, not just the why, but for whom. For
mm,
example, if I fail, which are the people that will fail with me? In my case, my wife and my daughter. So when you have not just the reason, but the people that will succeed with you, you have even stronger reasons to work, to do the hard decisions, to do the hard stuff, to record the videos every single day, to write or whatever you decide to do. So when you add to this count to this formula, the people that are working with you, man, you have really strong reasons.
that's much more stronger. That's awesome. Thanks for bringing this up. And let's just take a look on the new comments we have here on the chat. We have Samuel. Hello, everyone. Hi, Samuel. We have Vinicius. It was talking on the learning subject. I'm learning English and I find here an opportunity to practice, and probably I will commit some mistakes. No problem. You're together with us practicing and learning.
We are
Luciano,
all here committing mistakes, so don't worry.
absolutely. And that's a good thing to mention, because many people don't try things because they are afraid of making mistakes. I include in the past. Don't be afraid of making mistakes unless you die, of course. You're not gonna jump from a window on a building because you know it will not work unless you're with a parachute. Not this kind of mistake, but trying something on coding, on writing articles, anything that we were mentioning here, or like you just mentioned that you're learning English, give it a try, write it, try to speak with someone in English. That's how we learn stuff. Then Luciano Seibel added here, agree with teach is more about learning, and it's good to see all of you here giving us your knowledge. Thank you, Luciano. It's good to see you here and that you're enjoying this as much as we are. Then Vinicius says Bruno Souza the legend. He is. He is one of the legend. Ouch. I don't know. Hi, Leandro. Hi as well. So very good with the comments here. And you mentioned I have another one. If you do you wanna ask something, Tiago or Tila? Do you have something on the queue before moving on?
Yes, I have a question about presentations that you mentioned recently, Elda, that you made over 500 presentations in 9 years. And I'm just wondering how you are doing all those presentations. Is it okay to repeat the presentation several times? What rules do you set, or where do you get all of your ideas to put up a new presentation?
Okay. Yes, it's totally fine to repeat a presentation because even if you are talking, uh, let's rephrase that. It's very, very difficult that you have the same audience listening to you. So that's why there's absolutely no problem to repeat a presentation. Even here in Brazil, when we have the all TDCs in the course of year, so we have one TDC in São Paulo, then another in Florianopolis, then another one in Porto Alegre. It's very usual that I send the same presentations for three of them, not only because it's in different states here, but even if they were all happening in the same state, it's very difficult that we have the same audience. So that's not a problem at all. And even more if we are talking in different events. But Elder, I know that a guy that saw my talk in one event and then in another event, that is not a problem, really. And as I talking the last example, even when I repeat the same presentation, the 3 times, the 2 times, the 5 times that I do the same presentation, they are different because every single time that I do the same presentation, I change something, I rephrase something, some story that I talk in the presentation, I changed a little bit because it didn't work that well. So I always say that our talks are never done because especially my talks, I know other speakers, but my talks they are never finished. They are never done because I'm every single time that I do that presentation, I change something. I was with Luis a few months ago doing a meetup, so Java and Quarks Club, and I did that virtual threads presentation. I don't know how many times I did that presentation, but in the very day that I was presenting that on that meetup, a few minutes before I was changing and changing code, change something that I really structure of that presentation. So they are never done. About the content, about the what to talk about. My first and my preferred way to get insights to create a new presentation is asking the audience. So, for example, a few years ago, I decided to create a presentation uh, about native compilation with Java using GraalVM. And because I have been talking about GraalVM since 2018, when we had the first release candidate of GraalVM. Maybe I was one of the first people here in Brazil talking about it. And every single time that I give some presentations about GraalVM, I get a lot of questions about native compilation. So I decided, well, I will create a presentation that will try to reply, to respond, to answer all the questions about native image compilation. So what I did by that time, I posted on all my social media asking this question. If I create a session, a presentation about native compilation using Java, what you would like to know? What's your question about it? What's your biggest challenge about it? And I had, I don't know, dozens of answers, dozens of questions, exactly. And one of the slides of this presentation is a lot of print screens with all the questions that people send me. So I created a presentation to answer that questions. And guess what? People were talking to me. That was your best presentation. I really love this presentation. That the best presentation about this topic. It's not because I'm great. It's because I'm answering people's question. And that's then we are back to that sharing knowledge stuff and create reciprocity. Because when I answer your question, this helps you. You said, "Oh, thank you. You answered my question. Now I know more about it." So imagine creating presentation that will answer people's question. People will love you. So
Mhm.
for me, that's the main side of creating great presentations. Answer people's question. And to
Mhm.
answer people's question, you need to ask them what the questions they have.
Ah, okay.
But you need audience that listens to you at that time, right, Elder? Because you asked the audience because you already had some audience, and that's the point to the other question. What made the people start to follow you, but not just posting? You started sharing, looking at your beginning, started sharing. Was when you were presenting at TDC or other live events that people started to look at, oh, this guy knows what he talks about, and then started people to engage more. What was the key change that made the audience to search for you in the social media,
Mhm,
on your live videos? What was that change, if were one, only one, or a couple of it?
mhm. Uh, there are many aspects for this question. First, we all have audience here.
Mm.
Even you that you think that you don't have an audience, yeah, you have an audience. You have your team, you have your friends, your people that work with you. You have friends that from the same job, the same career that, for example, go to drink beer with you. You have this audience. Oh, but it's only 10 people. It's 20 people. It's 5 people. They are your audience. You can ask them. You always start where you are. Okay, you don't start on the top. You start where you are. So you use what you have where you are. Um, and how I don't know exactly if I had a moment when this starts growing because uh, what I was doing like 7, 8, 9 years ago is not much more different from what I do today. Today I have more resources, I have more intensity, I have more knowledge, I do it better. But in the end of the day, I was already sharing my knowledge. I remember my first posts on my Twitter, what I was doing by that time. I always post something on my blog and then I share on my Twitter. And I was posting on my blog and shared on Twitter, posting on blog and shared on Twitter. And I had like 200 followers. Uh, and I remember two moments in those days. It was 2016. Once I got replied by the Docker official account because I made some blog post. They like it, and the Docker official account reply. They made a retweet. Sorry,
Retweet, right?
they did a retweet, and it was funny because by that time I still had the notifications of Twitter activated on enabled on my cell phone because I didn't have that much notifications. And then I remember I was on a mall. Sorry, I was in a restaurant with my family, and then my phone started bling, 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 bling. People started following me. So my account kind of doubled or tripled in 24 hours. So,
Oh.
okay, I went to 200, went to 700, 600. Um, and another point that I remember, it was the guy from Tommy Tribe. What's the name? Tommy Tribe founder. It's David Blevins. Um, Also, the same thing. I was keep doing. I still doing what I was doing, posting, sharing, and then one day, all of a sudden, David Blevins retweeted one of my tweets, but with a comment. If you're not following Elder, you are missing a lot of good content.
Wow.
Also, my account boom doubled. So I went from 5,000 to 500 to 1,000, 1,000 and something. And but if I'd stop it just because great guys just retweeted me, my account would be still with 1,000, 1,000, whatever, and everything was kind of be frozen until these days. So what I just kept doing by that time was keep sharing, keep sharing, keep sharing, keep sharing, and by the course of time, I started adding another channels. So YouTube, Instagram, giving talks, and maybe most of my audience came from talks. But in the end of the day, the activities they are all the same. So some kind of knowledge, and then we share. People like it, people don't like it. I have some some haters today. That's as the French say, c'est la vie. So that's
That's
life.
good.
Yeah,
That's good.
but yeah, and you know there are stats. I don't know where they came from. That 10% of everyone that you know in their life don't like you. Okay, so from every people that you know, 10% of they don't like you. So sometimes you meet some of them. That's no not a problem. But in the end of the day, that's I think that happened with me.
Yeah. Thanks for
Uh,
sharing it, Elder.
just
Uh,
just
j-
a question.
j-
Just a question
go,
about
go,
the
Pedro.
something that Elder comment here. Elder comment that he started going to frequent meetups and communities and giving talks there. Uh, well, in the next hour, I will be in a meetup here in my first
Oh.
meetup here in Toronto, but I'm just participating. What tip what tips you have for people who start going to meetups and try to use this community to use this idea of participating communities to grow in his career.
Hmm. Mm, uh, for me, community is something that if you are not involved with some kind of community, you are really missing a lot of results for you and for your career. And I'm not saying that for you to go to a community and start just to taking from them. It's the opposite. The way of getting involved with a community is by giving your time, give your help, giving your knowledge, giving your hand, giving whatever you can give to that community. But why community has this power? We have a say that we always use is that, oh, when you would like to go faster, you go alone, and when you want to go farther, you go with others, you go with friends, with people. From my point of view and from my experience, community will make you not only go farther but also go faster, because when you are in community, when you are with others, you are with a group, you benefit from the knowledge of the group. And when you benefit from the knowledge of the group, you commit less mistakes. You access knowledge that you didn't have, and now you can do stuff that you can't before. Uh, and but it's not whatever community, whatever group. For me, the really powerful community for whatever you guys that are here today, it's a group that have the same desires and the same challenges and the same maybe difficult and the same pains that you. But because when you are gathered together with people that had the same desires and the same challenge that you have, you all guys will walk in the same direction to solve that challenges and to get those desires. That's why community is so powerful. That's why maybe today we are so used to share knowledge, because this also builds communities around us, and this will make everyone go farther. One example that I can give about this, my first community project, let's say, it was back in 2017, a series of interviews that I've made here at So Java that we called Java EE8, the next frontier, because Java is, it was still Java EE, it was not Jakarta EE yet, because it still belonged to Oracle. Um, and I always say, for example, if I send an email to Adam Bean asking, "Hey, Adam, I'm Elder. I would like to interview you." He, okay, not Adam is a nice guy, but probably he would ignore my email because I was just Elder. Okay, but when I said an email to Adam being saying, "Hey, Adam, I'm Elder from Java, and we are here are interviewing people about Java E," Adam replied to my email. Because when we have, especially, for example, Java, one of the largest Java user groups in the world, this community create this kind of power, let's say, this kind of power. That's the good word for that. And this power is also distributed among these members. So you it's not rare that you can do much more when you are inside the group than when you are outside the group. So for me, that's the power of community.
Elder, just a quick follow up about this because I've prepared a question about communities, but you already answered. And the last part of my question was how can people truly get involved? And you said that people think that community is about taking, and it's not, it's about giving. Can you comment about that?
Yeah, sure. I have a nice example about that. I'm very sure that most of you guys here know Rodrigo Graciano. It's a Brazilian Java champion. He's living in New York, and he's one of the leaders of the New York Jug. And fun fact, the name is not New York Jug, it's New York Java SIG. SIG is a English abbreviation for Special Interest Group, because by the time that New York Java SIG was founded, there was not this jug concept. We didn't have jugs around the world. And we think that the New York Java SIG is the oldest jug in the world. But long story short, Rodrigo said that he started to attend to the New York Jug meetups, get involved and know people and so on. And then he reached to the leaders and said, "Hey, I would like to help. I would like to get involved, more involved." And then they interviewed him like if it was for a job, and then they accepted him in the group. And then they said, "Here, we have all these jobs, all these activities that we need to do. Which one you would like to do, to perform?" And one of the jobs, one of the activities that they have was to contact speakers, to look for speakers for the meetups. And he said, "Hey, I like this one. I want you to contact you to find the new speakers to our meetups." And they said, "Okay, so go ahead. Then you are now our guy to look for new speakers for our meetups." And in the end of the story, he realized that he took the best activity, the best job inside the jug, because he got to know every single great speaker that we have in the Java community around the world, especially from above the United States, from abroad the United States, because a lot of speakers sometimes of year go to United States, go to New York, and so on. So they had people around the world speaking at the New York Java SIG, and that's my point with this get involved, because whatever group that you look at, I'm sure I don't know the group, but whatever group that you have, I know there are activities that need to be done by someone, especially activities that don't have an owner still. So if you would like to get involved with a group, you can do, for example, like Rodrigo, reach out to the leaders and say, hey, I know that you guys have a lot of stuff to do. I would like to help with someone with something. Please let me know, and I will do my best here. That's how to get started. That's how I did. That's how Rodrigo did. That's how Max did with Sojava. Max reached out to me and said, "Hey, Elder, we could do a Lightning Talks event." And I said, "Yes, we can. You are the leader. You do the event, and we help you." And he really did it. So I helped him, Bruno, Otavio, we helped him to build an event for Soul Java. It was his first event. It was great. Okay. And then today, Max is one of the top committers of Eclipse Foundation, super involved with Soul Java, super involved with the Java community. So that's how we start. We offer our help, we offer what we can offer, and then we start from that.
Hey,
Great,
Elder,
thank
just getting these community stuff. Uh, how do we do in the case for someone that lives more on the countryside, not on the big cities that have our jugs? How these people can also be part of a group like that to be involved, to share, and to uh, help others and help themselves as well. They need to travel from time to times. Can they do something? And this is kind of my issue here as
Mhm.
well.
Okay. Well, we can have a mix of many options. First one, online stuff. So, for example, if you go right now at the Soul Java Discord, you will see that we have the collab times. We have a special channel for collab times. What are the collab times? There are times of studying and sharing and talking that people do on Soul Java Discord, and you can do it whatever place in the world that you are. So the first one is, and the easier one is, and it's not only for people on the countryside. For example, I'm on the São Paulo area here, but most of my community activities I do online. Sometimes Soja organize something, Quarkus Club, Dev Converge Latam, and so on. But most of activities today they are online. That's one option. Another option, you said you can, for example, travel. So when Luis doesn't live in São Paulo, right, Luis? You live on the countryside. Yeah, close
yeah,
one, but
close.
yeah, close, but it's a countryside. Um, yeah, for example, oh, there is a meetup here and so on. For example, a few years ago, today I was sharing with Bruno. I was looking to the some memories on my Google Photos, and I saw a picture of me, Bruno, and Venkat, because in 2019 Venkat came to Brazil, and we did a travel tour with Venkat here in Brazil, and I have this picture with me, Venkat, and Bruno. So yes, if you have some special, some events, some meetup, and so on, so interested, yeah, we can travel. When we had São Paulo, Luis Fabrício came all the way from the south. He came 19 hours by bus to came here. I wouldn't do that. I assume that, but the guy was was super excited, so he came all the way from the south here. So yes, we can travel sometimes. Also, another thing that you can do if you are in a city, okay, we are not that close to the centers, to the big cities, but we have developers here, we have people here really interested. Why not create a group?
Yeah.
Okay, well, for example, I have a friend, Rodrigo. He's from Bagé, also in the south, close to not that close to Porto Alegre. He's closer to Uruguay, to be honest. Um, and he said, man, I'm far away from Porto Alegre. It's not an easy trip to Porto Alegre. So, and we have a lot of developers here in Bagé. So they created a group. In 1 week, they had more than 100 people in a WhatsApp group. So they started doing in person meetups by that time. So that's why I decided we can mix all these options. So if we don't have a group, we can create here, but also can contribute online. And if you have some good stuff, I can travel a little bit. So you can use all these options or just pick up one, your preferred one, and go ahead.
Yeah,
While traveling,
absolutely.
Bruno made a comment in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Bruno. Traveling from time to time is necessary, even if you live in a big city.
Yep.
And even we do have some two more comments about that from Luciano. I think that online groups are essential nowadays, but more important is easy to find the groups online. I better notice using social medias and so on. And the physical meetups are nice, just one or two on the year because there are costs involved. Yeah, there are costs involved. Um, I would like to have more physical
I have an
meetups.
insight about cost.
Go on, Welder.
Can I share it?
Absolutely.
Yes, there are costs involved, but if you are able to show your boss that when you go to a meetup, to a conference, you can do one of those three stuff. One, bring more money to the company. Two, help the company to spend less money. Or three, help the clients of the company, the customers of the company to have a better experience with our projects. If you are able to convince your boss that you can do that by going to a meetup, by going to a conference, your chances to get those costs covered by the company are super high, super high. Okay. Um, if I told you today that I don't cover my own costs when I go to the events, maybe you'll say, "But you are out there, you work for a Red Hat and so on." Okay, I'm doing this today, but the companies didn't start to paying me to go to the stuff just when I got hired by Red Hat. Okay, and this is something that you need to learn. How to convince the companies to pay me to do stuff that are important also to me. If you can link this importance to you to the something that is important to the company, your chances are super high to get approved.
Sounds great. Sounds great, Elder. That's something that it was one of the questions that I had on my head as well. And thanks for answering it. Let's take a quick look on the other comments that we have here. Dajavero mentioned that my study is entirely based on articles and books in English, and I am often criticized for using this approach. Some say that I waste a lot of time reading, but I feel that by reading articles, I think he would complete that. Yeah, but if you do read in English, of course, you're a step ahead if you're looking for an international career. That's what I would add to you. Hi, Jeremias. How can we count the years of experiences as developer? Uh, I would
Mm,
say the years if you practice, the more you practice, the more they
yeah.
count.
I start today, start counting. One
Okay.
year, 2 years.
I would tell
No,
you
not
something even more. Don't count the years. Make the years to count. If you if you get the maximum of each year, they will you will get much faster where you want to go. Of course, don't get mad at it because I've seen people, especially juniors, trying to get to a senior level in less than a year. Forget about it. You keep working, keep learning at a good pace, at a healthy pace, but don't get mad. You need rest as well in your mind. Otherwise, you will not fix anything here. And teach
okay.
people. We have talked about that here. Teach people, share what you have learned. I've seen amazing stuff from junior guys sharing even video tutorials on LinkedIn on their page, and that's really nice. It's a hello word at the beginning, but no problem. That's how they are starting.
And one comment about this making the years count stuff. Many people think that if we just let the years go, things will happen. And I got a few comments on my content. People saying, "Hey, this is nuts. This is useless. If you just keep working, things will happen." If that was true, if we got, for example, a taxi driver, a cab driver with 40 years, he could be a Formula One driver
Yeah,
because he has 40 years driving on the streets. And that's not what. Well, we had Nigel Mansell, but he made the opposite. He was a Formula One driver and he became a taxi driver. But the opposite I never saw. Okay, a truck driver with 40 years became a Formula One driver. So it's not just the years passing. It's what you do is making the years count, as Igor said.
yeah, great.
Great analogy. Awesome.
Then Luciano, bring training your read is always a good idea. You try your English comprehension, and at the same time, you're analytic through about sentence and text understanding. Absolutely. Vinicius said here, technology modify very fast, so the presentation can change it, even if it's about the same subject. I guess this was when you were explaining about presentations, other. And then he put us a question, dumb question. How much of the subject of the presentation do you think you have to know to share with others without the fear of hard questions? Great question, by the way, Vinicius. Not a dumb.
Um, the problem is fear whatever question because doesn't matter how much you know about something. There is always someone that's know more about you, they're more about that subject than you know. Okay, there was a time that Bruno asked me a question. Hey, Elder, can you teach James Gosling to how to program Java? Of course, I can't. Okay, but can you teach someone how to program in Java? Yes, I can. So it doesn't matter your level. So you always teach from the level that you are. Okay. Okay, Elder, but I'm giving a talk, I'm giving a presentation, and someone asks a question that I don't know. Say that you don't know. There is no problem. Man, guys, I have dozens, maybe hundreds of talks recorded and published on YouTube. I don't know exactly if the events share also the Q&A part, but if you watch and you see the Q&A part, there are sometimes that people ask questions that I don't know, and I said, man, I I didn't reach that that phase. I didn't came to that part. I can search, and then if you reach out to me again, I can answer it. But there's no problem because again, there is always someone that know more, and even there's there's not always the case that the person knows more than you. They just ask the question that you don't know it. There is always question that we don't know the answer. So you, that's some problem that we all have we always try to answer the questions. And we don't have hours to have the answers. That's crazy. Okay, so don't worry about it.
Absolutely. And the same applies in your job as well. Because I had it multiple of times when the customer came out of nothing with a requirement that he just created. And you know the answer of that? I don't know. We will need to find out to analysis that, take a deeper look on that, and that's fine. So you don't need to be God, neither on your the stage or in your job. You just need to communicate that in a way that it's understood. So I don't know that. We can take a look on that. Maybe on the next one, I bring the answer to you in the case of a presentation and in the case of working stuff. I mail you with what I found out or reach out to you in the next meeting, and that's totally fine.
There was a time I used to work with Bruno, the same company for about a year, and we work in the same project. And there was that meeting, and it happened a fight with the customer because they asked uh, a date for us to deliver some requirements, some requests, and Bruno said, "We don't know the date." Oh, how you don't know? We don't know. No, but you need to give us an estimative. We don't know estimative. We don't know. We need to figure it out. No, but we need it. We don't know. He replied with, "We don't know. We can't give this answer like a dozen of times." And we end up those meeting, everyone frustrated, and Bruno said, "C'est la vie." Again, we don't know. And then at some point we figure it out, to realize, and we give them some date. And that's the important stuff, because uh, sometimes we just by some kind of pressure over us, we, oh, okay, let me give some date, and that date always, and most of times, they are super wrong, or is super large or super short. So we prefer to give a super instead of saying, "Man, to be honest, we can't give you to you right now." And that's the point. And guess what? The client didn't fire us. They didn't. We didn't have any problem, and we delivered that project in the end of the day. So, but sometimes we need to have this kind of courage to stand up on our position.
Absolutely, Elder. Luciano thanked you for answering his questions here. And we also had a comment from Maximilian. Hi, Maximilian. Great to have you here too. Greetings to you all. It's amazing to see you all together speaking and help the community. And he's taking a time with his son. It's his birthday. See you, folks. See you, Maximilian. We're looking to have you here too. We want you here with us. So, just wrap up things. Elder, you mentioned that Twitter made a huge difference in your beginning career. Do you see Twitter as strong as it was in the past, or to continue sharing with the community, or this has been replaced for another social medias like YouTube or Discord or even LinkedIn that has a lot of articles these days? What do you think
Mhm.
about it?
Um, I have a philosophy that is, I want to be in whatever place that my audience is. So that's why, for example, these days I've been posting on TikTok my
Really?
short videos. Yeah, because I know there are people on TikTok that I can help with my content. So in the last few years, I've not been creating that much content in English. That's my failure. But whatever content in English that I create, I always post on Twitter, I always post on LinkedIn, and I don't post on Instagram and YouTube because I focus on content in just in Portuguese there. So the only difference that I did in the course of the years was that. So some of my social media, I'm focusing on content in English, and the other one I'm focusing on content in Portuguese, just by the sake of the audience. Because, for example, especially on YouTube, if you keep posting content in different languages, you confuse the algorithm, and it will be bad for you. But on LinkedIn, for example, that is a little more stable. If I have content in Portuguese, I post in Portuguese. If I have a post in English, I post in English. But in the end of the day, yes, I would keep posting on Twitter, on whatever whatever channel that I had. Especially because, for example, my Twitter, I still have like 7,000 people. It's not bad. So I can't miss to bring my content that could help some people inside that 7,000 people. So
I see. And for someone that is starting today, do you agree that would be good to share on Twitter as well? This is what I get
yeah, I would say more in English.
in
The,
English,
Bra-
right?
the Brazilian community in Twitter have questions,
Oh,
but in English, yes, yes, I would still
yeah.
post that.
And that's something that brings us to the next question: sharing in different languages. These days, I would say that in the last year, I've focused on sharing only in English, but my blog has a automatic translator if someone wants to read in English. But outside of my blog, you will only read that in English. Do you believe that I'm missing audience, especially from Brazil, that could benefit from that?
No, absolutely not. Because oh, there are people in Brazil that don't know how to read in English. Okay, so those people need to fix that because English is a language of software engineering. Period. You need you need at least to read in English. Well, if you have internet connection, you have a lot of free content. You'll have a lot of free materials to learn, at least how to read. Okay, so oh, but you don't. Okay, so if you don't have a connection, internet connection, maybe you are not even a developer
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
today.
I
how.
usually find better
And
answers when I search in English
yeah,
for IT stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I remember. Maybe you guys will also remember. We used to have Stack Overflow in Portuguese, but it was dead by born because we didn't have a content there. So every single time that you search something, you don't have the answer. Uh, so if you are starting out, I would say just keep in English. And especially these days, it's very important that you create an international career. Okay, it's very important that you are not stuck to your country. But Elder, why these days you create most of your content in Portuguese? Remember that I first create an international career. I first create a lot of relevance globally. Then I start doing stuff in Portuguese because I would like to create some stuff in Portuguese. That's my my decision a few years ago. But first, I built a whole career in English, an international career. So if I would start today, I would do exactly the same. Create a career, do all the stuff in English. Then when you have options, when you can decide, okay, I will try in French, I will try in Spanish, whatever. But I have a background that, because remember, today, if everything goes wrong, if I lost my social media, if I lost all my channels, whatever, my content that is online, I have a background. I can start really fast, can restart really fast and build everything again. So that's why I would do in English.
Absolutely. We do have two comments about that as well. Vinicius, English is the documentation language and the code language as well. And Luciano, yeah, I agree. English is the standard for communications, at least until now. Let's see now that with the rise of DeepSeek, if we are going to start coding in Mandarin. I hope not.
But we always think about, oh, Mandarin because China is so great.
Yeah.
We have 400 million people in China studying English. We have more people in China studying English than we have people in the United States speaking English.
Oh my God.
So even with China, we still need to learn English. Uh, Otavo once said that the English is for the software development as the scores are for music. Okay, you can play music without reading scores, but you will miss a lot. Okay, that's the same for the software industry. So you can be engineer without knowing English, but you will miss a lot. You miss results, you miss opportunities, you miss content, we miss people that you can't meet. So you are always missing uh, unless you solve this English problem.
Great, great, Elder. And I have one last question from my side here. And since you're from Hat Hat, how do you see sharing and I would say not sharing, but contributing to open source these days, and how someone can get started? I do know people that contributes with helping with documentation, like Vinicius mentioned here, translating documentation to other languages. But let's say something that I wanna contribute with resoluting bugs or whatever. What can you tell us about starting on open source projects, and also how these can help you build out your career?
Mhm. First, um, open source is the fastest way for you to work on the main companies around the world, especially big techs. Okay, people many times struggle. Oh, I would like to work for techs, for Fang, for Mang, and so on. And that's great. Yes, they have all those crazy selection process. But guess what? All the big techs around the world, they are huge open source contributors. And I will tell you something that I heard many times from people inside those companies, from people that hire engineers. They always said, hey, if I have an open position on my team, the first place that I look is on our committee, on our committers list. And okay, many times the committers are they are already our employers, but look, this committer, he or she is not our employee yet. So let's interview this person. Hard, call this person. Let's interview. Hey, would like, and realize that when you have a top committer on a project, that person already knows the code, already knows the process, already knows the product, already knows the technology. Everything that is involved in that project, that person already knows. So it's much more easier to get that person on board. Okay, let's check the culture, let's check the salary, let's check whatever. But the technical part is done because that person is already a committer. And I know I have a friend, a very super good friend, that he leads a team of 60 or 70 people. They are all committers brought from the open source contribution. They were not, they didn't came from the market, from the industry, from LinkedIn. No, no. They came from the list of committers. Uh, and how to get started? First, choose one project. And guys, one project. Because when people would like to start with open source, oh, let's pick a few one. No. Don't pick a few one. Pick one project. Two, pick a relevant project. That's not a mistake. People think like, hey, let's start with a not so big project because it's easier. Do you know what happens with the small projects on open source world? They
They die.
they, they die. People give up because it's not easy to maintain an open source project, because people think that open source project is a project for free. No. Kubernetes is an open source project, and guess what? Kubernetes is probably would be worth $1 billion or even more. So start with a really relevant project. Okay, Elder, but what relevant project? Because there are so many relevant projects around the world. Okay, so pick one that is relevant for you. So, for example, today, if I would like to start contributing, I would start with Quarkus because it's super relevant to me, or with Kubernetes, or with, I don't know, whatever project, open source project. I would pick one that is relevant to me. Why? Let's be back to the reason again. Why the hell am I contributing to this project? Because I use it every single day. I use it on my daily basis. I use it here in the company. So I deploy applications in production using this open source project. So I will contribute with that. If you look to the Quarkus list of committers, there are many of them that are people working for companies that use Quarkus. Most of them are not from Red Hat. They work for companies. And guess what? Those people are strong candidates to be hired by Red Hat because they are super high level engineers working with Quarkus and then can be hired at some point. Okay, so you pick a relevant project, a project that is relevant to you, and then you already gave the tip. Start by doing stuff that the engineers don't want to do. Documentation, website, fix typos. Today they have a very good approach that is tagging some issues with a good first issue or good first time issue. I don't know
Yes.
the term, but is that issue that is good for someone that never gets some issue with that project? Is an issue to start with, because when you get this issue to start with, you will start to learn how that project works. What's the process? What's the policy? What's the standards? What's the documentation? So whatever. So you start doing that again, daily basis with constancy and so on. Start baby steps, start small, start easy, because if you start strong, you will give up and so on. So the same tips that we gave for content sharing, creating talks, changing your habits is also valid here. So if you start by doing that and you keep doing it, because the thing is, most of people will not keep doing it. So if you just keep doing it, you will stand out from most of the industry. So sometimes we think that the people that we admire, the people that are successful, they are super genius. They are super, well skilled people. Sometimes they just didn't stop. And guess what? If you don't stop and you keep doing it, don't just let the years pass. Otherwise, you will be just a taxi driver for 40 years, and then yeah, you can reach out.
That was great, Elder.
Just a
Thanks a lot for
comment,
sharing.
a quick comment about first good issues. There is a tool that helps you filter first good issues, that is Git Begin. And
Oh,
this is
share it.
another open source project I shared with you in the private chat. If you
Oh, great.
I'm copying it.
Let's
yeah,
paste it here
thanks.
for the audience.
Yeah,
Let's.
I have just done it. Should
Have
come.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, I have one of my mentees here, Rodrigo Fernandes. Thank you, Rodrigo. And also,
Hi,
Max
Rodrigo.
was here, also is one of my mentees. So thank you.
We
Yeah,
also had some comments around here. Vinicius mentioned that it
Just
was
one,
a great
one
question.
thing, Igor.
Oh, go on. Go, Pedro.
Yeah, I unfortunately I need to go. It's amazing to stay here, and then I would love to stay, listen to Elder lessons here. So thank you, Elder, for and thank you everybody so much. But I really need to go. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Pedro. And
Thank
when
you,
I
Thank
Pedro.
you.
Alrighty.
when I go to Toronto, I will have a coffee with you.
For sure. I'll be waiting.
See you.
Bye bye.
yeah.
See you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Pedro.
Uh, and I would also want to add something more like a recap, and because we talk about many things, and I think maybe this link that we shared here it's maybe not the best thing because, like Elder said that we should think in a relevant project for ourselves. For example, if you are a Quarkus developer, Quarkus. If you work with Spring, Spring. If you do not work with Java, maybe you can choose another framework, probably an open source project, and then contribute to it. And because you talk here about sharing and this kind of things, so maybe by reading the documentation, reading the code, a code that is relevant to you, you can figure out new ways to do better things. And by learning these kind of things, you can also share. So you can take advantage on trying to contribute to open source because you learn more for yourself and also you can share that, right? So you can do all of
Mhm.
these kind of stuffs. And I'm glad, Elder, that you are here. Thanks a lot by being here. I do not know if you have more time or not, but thank you to be here because, like we share here, you do many things. You record video, you do many talks, you are a book writer, so you do many stuffs. And even though you have time to be here sharing these amazing tips, so thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you, Thiago. My pleasure, my super pleasure to be here with you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's not just a simple session. We're an hour and a half with Elder here. So thank you very much for staying that long with us.
Super happy, super excited because um, sharing is not just a strategy. Sharing is not just something that you do just to grow up. Because if it was that case, it would be just a taker, you know. And I know that Bruno always talks to you guys about taking and giving, to be a taker and to be a giver. And here is me trying to be a little bit of giver. So super happy to be with you guys every time of the day. Don't call me every day because I will attend. So super happy to
So
be here.
that will be great because we're having a record audience here. So if you want to join us every session, feel free to.
I think it's a good time for Elder to share his social media.
Okay,
How
Absolutely.
can people reach out to you, Elder?
sure. I will put on the private chat so you guys can put on the.
Mhm.
So my Instagram, so it's Elder Moraes, Elder ELDER Moraes Moraes. Okay. Instagram.com, Elder Moraes. My YouTube channel is Elder Moraes as well, the same way. So youtube.com/Elder Moraes. And my LinkedIn is, of course, linkedin.com/in/Elder Moraes. So Elder Moraes everywhere. And
Yeah,
then and I try always to share content these days to help. When I'm talking about technical stuff, I'm super focused on the back end side. So to help Java backend developers to grow up in their careers. And I also talk a lot about career. Most of stuff that we share here, also I've been sharing on my channels. So if you need help with that, I'm super happy to have you.
Elder, talking about Java backend is one of the key aspects to become a Java champion.
To be a backend, are you asking?
No, to become a Java champion, you need
Uh,
to talk about Java specifically, right?
oh
To
yeah. Because uh, here's the thing: the Java champion title is a recognition towards to your contribution to the Java ecosystem around the world. Okay,
yes,
so yes, you don't need to be talk only about Java, but we need to have a lot of about Java. For example, if you look to Loyani Groner, Loyani talks a lot about JavaScript and Sencha and so on, but she's a super. She has, guys, she has over 100,000 students certified by her about Java. So that's not something for anyone. So yes, you can talk about other stuff, but in order to be a Java champion, you need to have these huge contributions to the Java ecosystem.
that's great. Loyane, we want you here to join us in a future session, Loyan.
Invite
So
her. She's amazing.
great, great, awesome. And she also has a very successful international career. So there's a lot of subjects that we can talk here.
I can connect you guys with her if you want. No, just ping me.
Awesome, awesome. And let's not extend this too much because we are more over time here a lot. Guys, any final questions for Elder here? Thank you so much, Elder, for being so patient over time with us here. But the talk has been amazing. A lot of great questions and subjects, and I believe that anyone that is watching this will benefit from these learnings. At least I am benefiting, and I tend to apply lots of these learnings as well.
Thank you, Igor. And again, thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity and hope you guys enjoy. And thank you for everyone that is watching both live and the recording afterwards. Thanks for your time and hope you get some useful for you and your career and your life.
Absolutely. Sila,
Yeah. Thank you so much, Elda. It was a big pleasure for me to be here with you. So
Thank you
see you
too.
next time.